Thank you, ma'am.
That's probably not even one of my first thoughts. I know it's sad. You can do that. Yeah.
It was someone that came by Sunday carrying a stretcher.
There you go, we can do it like, Roadrunner would.
I just I'm
I
sorry,
seen the
but
truck with Wayne's the other day.
I didn't.
Chris did. He's got Roadrunner back here. Yeah, beep, beep.
I don't know, I
And he put Cody right there.
hurry if I had to, you know.
A Peter stick, you put Cody on that crease. He got Roadrunner here, door. That's creative now, but that don't fix his crease, but it is funny, it's funny.
Okay, good, thank you, Lord.
Yeah, Roadrunner, slam on the Cody, put it in.
That's where, that's who would know, isn't it? Me too, and I'm.
We're thinking about taking some
I'm back in
minutes.
the book, but that's okay,
Putting
everybody's wondering.
it back in there, letting it dry good, then drill a hole back in there and connect it.
Okay, thank you, Ruby.
You can drill in this.
Ruby's gonna call me back.
She gonna call you back?
Ruby will call me back, so I think it'll be okay if I answer the phone.
Yeah. Volunteers.
Oh, I'm glad tomorrow's Friday. It's Friday, right?
Is it Ruby said to see?
Yes.
Friday's my day.
You got sick. He had a bad headache last night. And he got it this morning. Went to school. And he got slammed in the door here. I mean, that he's going to the house.
I can't hear.
Man, so he didn't want to spray the ring.
Yep.
He's not even home.
He did not have time to get
I guess not.
whatever.
Fire make
Go ahead, here.
Happy
I knew there was a word.
Yeah, that was kind of a. So the thing is kind of, he just kind of, probably, yeah, maybe just kind of fast now.
Okay. Okay, it's coming through. And I got this lower, so maybe I won't scrub it. I took that tonight. Good evening. Let's see. That's a little loud, isn't it? Okay. That's better. Would you, was prepared, David?
Yes, sir. Heavenly Father, we come tonight to learn more about you, to bring our prayer requests to you. Lord, settle off our head. We got unspoken requests about Dixie, about the Andrews, and Bill Jackson. We don't know exactly what happened, but it showed up. There's something that needs prayer here in attention. We pray that you will give us this study time, read very all these things in Jesus' name.
Amen. How many Jeopardy fans do we have in here? Yeah. Just one Jeopardy fan's all. Did you have to watch it yesterday?
No, I did not.
The clue was, I forget how I put it exactly, but it was the two types of green snakes that you found in I think it was Australia, and how they gave a different impression when you petted them. And does anybody know the answer? Two types of green snake. Yeah. Okay. Y'all gotta wait till the end of the show now. Okay. And what we're going to talk about is how snakes act today. This is designed to encourage you as you go about and share the gospel with people for the answer or the response that you get. I'm going to be reading from Romans chapter 3, and I'll start with verse 1, and we're going to read through about half of it, I guess, and then we'll come back through and talk a little bit about it. So Romans chapter 3, verse 1, Paul says, "What advantage then hath the Jew? Or what profit is there of circumcision? Much every way, chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of God. For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? God forbid. Yea, let God be true, but every man a liar, as it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings, and mightest overcome when thou be judged. But if our unrighteousness commend the righteousness of God, what shall we say? Is God unrighteous, who taketh vengeance?" I speak as a man. God forbid, for then how shall God judge the world? For if the truth of God hath more abounded through my lie unto his glory, my yet am I also judged as a sinner, and not rather as we be universally reported, and as some affirm that we say, let us do evil that good may come, whose damnation is just. What then? Are we better than they? No, not in any way. For we have proved both Jews and Gentiles that they are all under sin, as it is written, "There's none righteous, no, not one. And that there is none that seeketh after God. They are all gone out of the way. They are together become unprofitable. There is none that doeth good, no, not one. Their throat is an open sepulchre. With their tongues they have used deceit, and the poison of asp is under their lips, whose mouth is full of cursing and bitterness. Their feet, their feet are swift to shed blood. Destruction and misery are in their ways, and the way of peace have they not known. So that's is a description of man, a description of the condition of man, but before salvation comes. And so I, I want to look just a minute at the argument that Paul makes, and then that'll open the way to look at the way the Scripture describes the unsaved man. Um, First of all, in his argument, he says everybody's in it together. Everybody's got the same problem. And if you notice a couple times, verse 10 and verse 12, he says, "No, not one." Now, what is he saying? No, not one in relation to or in describing that right? That it's not just one individual. It's all of us, and it's all of us are unsaved. And he says that we can't do right. Not a one of us. There's not a single person. Um, Paul goes into uh, 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 a 3 or 4 verse um, uh, um, uh, argument about salvation, and that's where he has the part where he says, should God be criticized because he judges, and the other side of that argument is that that the person who brings judgment upon himself should be blessed because he has made it possible for God to show His might and His mercy and His power and His judgment all at the same time. So Paul he comes with a response to this hypothetical question that he's asked. What advantage does the Jew have? And he concludes none. And the reason is we're all sinners. And not only are we all sinners, but we're all sinners without exception. And not only that, but we're all sinners without reparation or without any rescue or change possible. So with that, we'll look at how Paul describes the person who's unsaved. First of all, he says that they are without understanding. He says that they don't have understanding. Now that literally means that they have no capability of reasoning. That when you see something, something mechanical, for instance, you may be curious as to what makes it go, and if you are when you're a child, you want to take things apart. You don't quite know how to put them back together again, but you don't have to put them apart. But you try to figure out how they work. Paul says that the unsaved man has no power of understanding, but he's not talking about mechanical stuff. He's talking about the heart, talking about the spirit and the soul. And he says that they have no understanding, that they don't seek after God, that they don't care to find God, so they're not going to look for Him. Now I'm reminded of the instructions that Jesus gave us when he said, "Ask, and what will happen." it'll be given to you. Seek and you find, and I say it. I forgot the third part. So somebody help me out. Knocking will be opened unto you. Thank you. And Paul said that the unsaved man has no desire that he's going to ask because he doesn't want it. He's not going to go to any trouble to try to get into those things. And then he says that they have gone out of the way. That would be the natural result of wandering around, not caring where you went if you got lost. And that's what Paul says happens is that not only are they lost spiritually, but they've lost their way to try to figure out and be able to turn to God and to find salvation. And because of this, because they have no understanding, and because they don't look for God, and because they've gotten off the trail, the Bible says they are unprofitable. Now that unprofitable is their condition. When you or at least when I got my first job after getting out of school, I'm glad that my boss was a patient. It was a while before he made any money on me. And if you're willing to, you probably admit that same thing was true in your condition. But here, Paul says that the unredeemed man is unprofitable. Now that means that they don't produce anything for God. That they don't make anything or make anything better. They are just there, just following their natural condition. And then Paul talks about a description of them. They're in the last part of this passage, where it says, first of all, the throat is an open sepulcher. Now sepulcher is kind of an old word, and so let's make sure we understand what it means. Who tell me what a sepulcher is? Well, it goes in the ground usually, or oftentimes it's actually put on top of the ground. But what is by and large taking the sepulcher's place? Casket. A sepulcher is a box or a ledge or something where you put a body. Paul here says that unsaved person and the unprofitable condition, that their throat is an open sepulcher. Now, that's one of those things that I did some investigation to find out what it means. But I knew right to start with, it wasn't really complimentary. And so that's what we find. What goes in the sepulcher? Dead things. And so Paul says that their throat is an open sepulcher. That they're looking for dead stuff, corn to fill themselves with. It says, throat is an open sepulchre. With their tongues they accuse deceit. Um, what, uh, what, 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 what is the function of the tongue? Okay, to speak. That's pretty important function in it. But what else does tongue do? Taste. Which is not as important for survival, but it kind of makes the world a little more creation. What else does tongue do? Um, if you if you ever don't have full use of the tongue, you'll find out you may not be able to see it actually. The tongue also will clean stuff out, and so Paul says that their tongue uses deceit, or is a tongue of deceit, and so. Uh, how often do we talk to someone and we know that they're lying to us, and you just hate to look at them and say, I know that ain't the truth. Their tongue is just filled with deceit. And that's because that's who they are. All right. Now we've been here. So let's see. The poison of asp is under their lips. You ever want to kiss that one? The poison of asp is under their lips. And I notice that it's not out where it can be seen. They're not advertising, trying to hide it, but nonetheless, that poison is there. The mouth is full of cursing and bitterness. And again, there's just some folks that just makes you tired to be around, because you just have to be on your guard all the time because you know what they're going to do, but you know it's going to be unpleasant. And their feet are swift to shed blood. Now notice in the introduction to this section that Paul said that they don't follow after God. Well, this tells where they do go. And their feet are swift to shed blood. And so take note also that this person's characteristics are exhibited from his head, where he doesn't have that understanding, all the way down to his feet, and so he is all in the sin thing, and people who don't have Christ, they are, and they can't help it. Now what happens wherever they go? The Bible says destruction and misery are in their ways. And this is just not a real positive, complimentary description. Way of peace have they not known. They don't understand God, and as a result of that, they don't understand peace. Because that word peace that doesn't mean just the absence of war, Now, it means that it means living in harmony with but more than that, it has the idea of living in harmony with God and doing His will in your life. Well, peace have they not known, and um, and since they don't know the way of peace, then there's no way that they can understand God and know it. Um, and so I'm reminded of an old commercial. But before Gulf Power was Gulf Power, and they had a commercial uh, that they would show the meter, so some of y'all might remember the song, and the meter goes round and round, that's how these guys do. They just go around and around doing the same thing over and over again, uh, and building up more offense to God. Now, do you want do you want the answer to the snake question first, or do you want the answer to the center response first? Centers, okay. All right. How many of you have presented the gospel and how somebody get just downright put out? They don't show it real often, but occasionally they will, and you can detect it a lot more than they want to. Now the reason that the person gets angry or at least offended is you just told them that they are a snake and that they don't have any insight or any understanding of God, and that their tongues are only good for handling dead stuff. I would be pretty offended too, but that's the reason. Now my word of encouragement that I have for you is rejoice in that, because that means that you have taken the gospel to them, and they've heard it in their spirit. Because if they just walk away and not have any response at all, then they haven't even begun the process of finding God. And it took me a long time to come to that insight. And I want y'all to know that my gift is not the gift of evangelism, my spiritual gift. My responsibility, just like yours, is to evangelize. We can't get out of can't get away from it, but by saying I'm not good at it or I'm not comfortable. I'm still not comfortable, and but I still share. So when a person becomes angry, just stop on the inside and pray and pray the Lord will make manifest what He has planted in that person's life. Now the snakes and and this could be kind of like the people that you share with. Two kinds of administration in Australia, and I think it was Australia, that give you a different feel that are smooth and rough. That's what Beck said on Jeopardy. So I think that these folks like that you could say it don't matter if they're smooth or if they're rough. They all need Jesus. And on that I will close. Uh, we'll ask for a prayer request.
Further in that chapter, there's a verse. All have sinned. I'm sure
Yes.
that didn't leave one out, did it?
As this passage said, no, not one. And that indeed, that's actually it pretty much sums up Paul's theme throughout that first three chapters of Romans. Thank you. No, please. Other comments? Let's begin with our prayer request then.
Well, had a bad headache last night. Woke up this morning. It's morning stuff and got sick, throwing up sick. So it went back home and that's for that night. Share everybody else. That's what and that he gets better. She had an unspoken prayer request.
Okay.
Like, I'm not forgetting about copy that this and she's been having a lot of leave on.
Yeah.
Logistics, she wants to do that.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
He's blessed, asked God to bless the recovery efforts in Southwest Florida. They're coming down there strong. They need their voting is set back in order for them to be able to vote.
Mhm.
In November. Estimated 1 million Christians in voting support. Get a vote and take their citizenship seriously.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
And how passing pastor today, there's all Fitch. So I just remember hoping young women and her and young.
Yes. Okay, anyone else?
Yes, we put Destiny on the prayer list. I know she's got some health things going on. She said her maybe doctor's appointments and different things. Just keep her in prayers. Destiny. We didn't always use her most days. I saw Carson today. I know I had a prayer list. We had a retirement party at our school. Lady, his mom and his sister. You wouldn't think like, he had pretty much open heart surgery for most of us. He's running around, asking for chocolate. He's trying to be a little more watching him be getting too wild. So just, before getting, so.
Did the appointment go well? Did you not get quite as?
They said, thank you for praying. They said he was really like the best he's been. Like, doing very. It's his mom was the only one to get it at the time, so I think that's what she said. He was a lot more this time than he has to. So. There you go.
Absolutely.
Anybody?
Is that something I'm doing?
It may be across your shirt.
Well, it sounds like it's in there.
Ask, Mindy what she,
You mentioned Dixie. I'm, go ahead. I was going to talk to John. That's him. Susan diagnosed with breast cancer. It's the early phases. And the Alex was diagnosed with breast cancer. I called it in the early stages. It's supposedly small. She said about 7 millimeters. She goes in the morning, surgery, we do the eyes, we do the take some nose and do whatever they got to do in the lab. And then the operating service, which you want sometime more. Just keep seeing where there's a Lord for the protection and all the way with diagnosis and with treatments and stuff. I know the number of people who have been diagnosed with stool and and treatments that all through all that, keep up, everything seems to be going fine. So, big list. That's a lot of things. So, you see your grace.
We have a young lady next door to us, she's pretty big, she's 2 ago. And she, and one is plus to suicide. Our middle boy keeps trying to tell her to church. And, oh God. But her parents are like, they don't rent, so it's kind of hard to get here. Come to church with the boys. We're world.
Yeah, first name.
My family has several for this. My nephew and his wife's house burnt last week, so they're gathering. They did not. And then my niece in Germany needs prayers here, and unfortunately got date rate. Just went over in January, I think, as an MP since January. She's over there herself for this work. So Alvin and Callie had their house burned down on Rockville Road, and Olivia's in Germany, and my son Caden. So what this is all me. Lots of prayers.
They decided that their mother will be coming home from the rehab at the end of October. So just pray for all the caregivers, the children, we've got some kind of plan. This makes it mean more, and they were having trouble just having one person there. I mean, they have a sitter that comes here today, but they have this like night. And it's all they can do to get rotating through the week, not plan that, but 2 people every day at night. So just pray for them. Be the difference between now and then.
Father, we thank you. We thank you for that. We thank you for speak. Lord,
Just like these, spirit and grace, we just
about us until we accept this big beautiful, big angel is. She will be able to hear the word. I pray that we will be able to continue to invite her. She would be able to with her and share her that she find something to look forward. I would just pray for Alan Cindy's granddaughter. He seems to be very proud of that, and I don't understand why. You know, uh, some people seem to have more self-worth than can fool somebody else, and but we pray that he will help them best to fix this situation, whether it's down here or to how best to handle it's hard. Because we continue to help those that are working to restore living back to her. I know it takes a long time to fix what miles away. Pray that you will keep those men and women that are working safe, and that they won't be accident ministry to the power lines, because that's very tricky, because there'll be people running generators that got to turn the breaker off. And, we just pray that you will protect us and try to help those people down there. And just be with us as we work here in this community, and we try to share your gospel. We try to get life for you, and pray that you will be the ones that are working with you every night. Just give them the strength they need, give them the words they need to say. We got each one of them. Always expect to do the same.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time as we can come together and to lay our petitions before you. We humbly ask with these to our hearts, for our response to your call was one is these ill, we know that you do. We place them in your, we ask that you just take those transparency to take them. So we help them to regain strength. We help us good, that's healing, that you would continue with that, that you would give it quickly back to what he can take. We thank you for his service. You guys do it for us, helping the ministry, them as they go together, as they work with the team, work here at church. We thank you for what she does. You watch over her and protect her. All of those workers that are out there and working with the youth, children, you know that is a, we know that's a job, that's rough. Lord, we just ask you to take the wisdom that you give us, strength and insight with Daniel's deal, lead and plan, direct activities, the lessons and the learning is Lord, how Dixie, Dicky, Destiny, Thomas, we pray for all those that are working in those areas, the nursery, for Kelly. We ask each one of them as they present the gospel and the message of the gospel to all these young people and these children, that they be touched and understand that they can make this profession for them. Oh, we Brother Gary, as he is preparing to take on the surgery and this procedure, which would give him a better quality of life. We're praying for doctors to be attuned to what these are. We ask you to guide, walk with him, walk through this operation with him, guide and direct him to the surgeons, prayer and say, take care of the needs that he has. We were told that she is going to be there whenever he asks us to be with him. All pray for this individual who's involved with being bullied and you just deal with those that are doing this. That you would touch them, you would help them to see that we can correct what is being wrong. All of the people that are the university workers that are working in the South Florida area, as they pray to those that are out there, university workers, first responders, different positions that we have. Each one is there, we pray for their protection, and stay allowed to rescue, to restore power, see about medical needs, and see about the needs of the individual physical needs, food, clothing, and shelter. There's a great need, and we ask just raise up the men and women of the local churches that will respond the way we bring glory to your name, honor to your name. I would pray that you help us to community that we go to support them, to help us in needs that are that we will respond to. Lord, we look now from our place, we pray for those missionaries that are working, those that are working in Sudan. We ask that you would be with them as they try to establish that trust there, so we can pastor there, that you would open doors for the gospel in a mighty way. Life will be changed. Society will change. Communities will be changed. Put your hand upon that place. Open the door wide. Flow out. Always repeat the ask for blessing and guidance as we work here, so we pray for you that you help us to be a witness as you taught us to be the word. We go to our jobs, we go to our neighbors, to our stores, wherever we are. We be a witness to cause the people to spread the gospel. God, direct our hearts. Keep us from those things which would be mean, those things which would bring shame or dishonor to your name. Let us all be gracious, merciful. Amen. Thank you for your love and guidance. Lord, us keep us. In Christ's name we pray.
Precious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the chance to come here and study your word. No matter how many times we read through a passage, there's always something new between them. We sometimes get busy in our daily lives and forget that you're walking right there with us. Be with Sister Sue as she goes through this procedure and get her on the right side of this cancer and that can get her back to full health. Brother John, over this virus and gets back with us, we get healed with that. We pray his procedure, that he'll have no mobility when he gets back from that procedure. And all these others we mentioned, so many down in South Florida that all need your healing touch, and the caregivers that are there with them and need your guidance. Lead us and guide us in the way you have us go when it's back on the time. Just to bring it right. Amen.